Hello again, everybody. The weather is still actually pretty glorious in the UK. Certainly is on the day that I'm recording this, but I'm still going to get a little video out for you. So I thought I'd try something new again, and in my efforts to try and get into vintage, classic, older football shirts, I thought it might be interesting for me to review all of the home shirts from every Premier League season since its inception. I won't do it every week because I've got other things to do, other shirts to open, etc. And I'm thinking, well, it's going to take quite some time for me to do this because the Premier League's almost 30 years old. So by the time I get to the most recent one, it's going to be probably actually 22-23 season. Now, like with anything like this, all of it's going to be my own opinions. It's just a bit of fun. So there's probably going to be some stuff in there that I'm going to say that kind of maybe makes no sense to some people, but just take it with a pinch of salt. It's it's just a little bit of fun. I got into football about 2000, so football shirts from around about that time are probably going to have an inflated value anyway because that's when nostalgia hits. And any shirt pre to that, I don't really have that connection, so the ratings are not going to be probably as high as most people would give them. I know vintage shirts, they have quite a place in a lot of people's heart, but for me, it starts in 2000 and not 92, 93. So these first few seasons, it's going to be a bit, low rated compared to what some other people would do. So I'm going to be simple, 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being not very good. I'm going to try and be as harsh as I possibly can. I don't want there to be too many 1s, I don't want there to be too many 5s either. So there's going to be a lot in the middle. So we're going to run through it now. We're going to do it alphabetically, and I'll try to be as quick as I can because I think it might be a bit of a long one. So we start with Arsenal, and this one's manufactured by Adidas. And the pro I have this one is Old Crest. I like an older crest. Doesn't mean that some of the new ones are bad. I do like that part about vintage shirts. I like the sleeve pattern. It's kind of cool, a little bit something different other than just the white. And the trims on the collar. I like a trim on a collar. That's going to be quite a common theme in this video. Con, centralized logos. Never been a fan of it. Just can't get into it. It's not for me. I mean, if it's all centralized, it's okay. But if it's when one of them's off, it just doesn't make any sense. And then the Adidas logo on the neckline. It's not. I don't like that. It's too high up. It's too weird. Not for me. So I give this one a 3 out of 5. So that's sort of like an average shirt. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just standard. We move on to Aston Villa next. Aston Villa, this shirt is manufactured by Umbro. And one of the pros I've got is lace-up collar. Any shirt that has a lace-up collar automatically gets a little thumbs up for me. I like that. And I kind of need to get a contemporary shirt with that style. I don't have any yet, but I will get one eventually. I like the rings around the cuffs. They look pretty cool to me. Just breaks it up a little bit. I do like stuff happening on the ends of sort of the cuff or the trims. And I'm going to say a lot of these images I'm using I pulled directly from the Premier League website. So obviously they're just digitized. If you look at them like a real life version of the photograph, you're going to see a lot more of the clearer details. So if you're not sure about what I'm talking about, I would probably just advise you to Google it. So like this one, for instance, has subtle like initials, the club's initials in the body. So I kind of like that. It's kind of nice touch. And the cons, is the collar, the ring, the blue around the collar. I don't know. I don't quite like that. Maybe it's 'cause it's too thick. I'm not a fan. It kind of ruins the shirt just a little bit. I'm giving it a 3 again because it's it's not bad. It's not good. Next is Blackburn Rovers, manufactured by Asics. Asics, I don't believe they do anything anymore or even exist. And the pro for this one, there's some subtle diamonds in the design. If you get a better close up, you can see them. And I like red trims. The red trims break up the blue and the white quite nicely. Just the little details on the collar and the sleeves. What I don't like is the sponsor color. I just said I like red, but for this sponsor, I think it kind of looks weird when you're coming against two contrasting colors, blue and sort of white. I don't like it. And then also, I don't like this styling of shirt. I don't think I've got any shirts in my collection that has this half and half, half and half, half and half sort of combo. I just don't like it. Maybe if the color scheme was a little bit better. I generally like blue and white, but for whatever reason, it's just not doing anything for me. So I'm going to give it 4. Just for me. I don't like that styling. Next is Chelsea. I'm going to try and remove any biases from this. I'm trying to be as subjective as I can. So, of course, manufacturer Umbro. And again, this one has like Umbro diamonds and the club initials hidden inside the design of the shirt. And more red trims, like red trims. Cons. Actually, there is an Umbro diamond on one of the sleeves. And it's just too big and it's just like unnecessary. If it was on both sides, maybe it would be better. Maybe it wouldn't even make a difference if it was. I just don't like that. So I kind of like a bit of symmetry when it comes to a shirt. So I've given this a 3. I'd prefer to give it a 2, but I think it's fair to give it a 3. It's okay. It's okay. Coventry City next with a Ribeiro shirt. So Ribeiro went out of business. No longer makes shirts. They're very popular in sort of the early 90s. And the pro for this one is a jazzy pattern. Everyone knows I like a jazzy shirt, and you know, the 90s definitely tick that box. A con, sleeve trims. I think sometimes a little bit of a trim on these crazy designs just breaks up a little bit, just makes it a little bit more subtle. And then also the collar, I think it's just boring. I think in real life it just looks a bit rubbish. The trims are not amazing. So I've given it a 3. I'd give it maybe a 2 if you had a trim or something, but yeah. Next is Crystal Palace, Ribeiro again. And pro is the button collar. I always like a button collar. 1 button, 3 buttons, pop a button, any button. I quite like that. And then on this one there's also a subtle graphic inside the shirt design, which is nice. Con. On this image it's difficult to see, but there's the blue stripe running down the sleeves, down the side, the outer one. It's really thin in real life, and I think it just looks a bit weird. Like, I'm not sure if that's a good styling, just thin and then the thick in the middle. And then the sponsor design. I know it's just what the company has as their logo, but I just think it looks a bit weird, especially in real life. I've gone for a 4 on this one, so it's not their best effort, I don't think. Next is Everton, manufactured by Umbro, and pro is a nice collar. I kind of really like it, especially in the real life photographs. And a subtle design again, similar to a lot of the shirts, just a good design. Con, the initials on the right sleeve. I'm not a huge fan of that. Don't like them being placed there. And then again, no trims. I think some trims on there, maybe just a little thin white one around would be quite nice. But I'll give it a 3. Nothing too terrible or too amazing. Next is Ipswich Town, manufactured by Umbro. Lace-up collar again, so that's always a positive. Red collar trims again, positive. And I like the blue trims. I think you know, if that was just white, that would look a little bit more plain, whereas blue just adds a little something extra. Con, the red shield around the crest. I don't know why they've done that. Maybe an Ipswich fan, if there is one watching, let me know why that was the case. I think it just makes it look too sort of chunky and bloated. And then I know again it's the the sponsor, but I don't like the wonky sponsor, how it curls up towards the logo. It's just small details. But I've given it a 3 again. It's not terrible. Leeds United, Admiral. Still going strong, still making shirts, just not as many as they once were. And the pro, the collar. I love this collar. It's one of my favourite styles of collars to this date. Just the way it sort of crosses over and tucks in, really good. Sleeve trims. The Admiral sleeve trims are going to feature quite heavily in this, and they're just beautiful. Love the design. And the old logo, one of the old logos. Leeds have actually not done too bad with logos. Yeah, it feels a bit bad saying that, but it's just the truth. And then the con, small con. I don't like it when the manufacturer and the main sponsor is the same. You know, Admiral and then Admiral. It'd be weird if you saw an Adidas shirt sponsored by Adidas. I'd just be kind of weird. But I've given this a 2. Give this a 2 because I think it's just a really well put together shirt. Just maybe if you had a different sponsor, it could be a 1. It's just really clean and classy. Liverpool manufactured by Adidas. Pro. I mean the 3-stripe, the big large 3-stripe. I can get behind that. I don't mind that. I remember there was a Orlando Pirates shirt released recently, a couple of years ago, which had it, I kind of feel like I should have bought it. But it's, yeah, kind of iconic. Cons, again, Adidas logo on the neck, not a fan of that. And then, other than the 3-stripe, kind of a bit boring shirt, which for some people is like, that is all it needs to be. That is the shirt. I thought maybe a little something else extra. So I'm going to give it a 3. Liverpool have made much better shirts than this, so I think comparatively a 3 is not unreasonable. Manchester City, manufactured by Umbro, and yeah, the Umbro trims, similar to Admiral. I love those sort of trims, very good from back then up until the current date. I love an Umbro shirt with those on. And then the white ring. This time, I think because the ring's a little bit thinner than the Aston Villa one, I kind of like it, and it just stands out quite nicely. Cons, there is a giant, subtle Umbro graphic right on the front. You might be able to pick it up. I do like the diamonds, but there's a place and a time for them and not a giant one on the chest. And then it's similar to the Ipswich one, white shield around the crest. Just, I think it's unnecessary. So that's lost a few points there. So I'm just going to give it a 3, but it's still a good 3. And of course, their rivals, Manchester United, manufactured by Umbro. Lace-up collar, golden star, black trims on the collar. It's quite nice. It sort of separates it a little bit. Cons, though, this shirt has the Umbro and the initials sort of in the design, but it actually doesn't look like that great. You see a photograph of it. I'm not following it. I'm not feeling it at all. And then again, no trims on the sleeves. Maybe a little bit of black or something around it, just might mix it up a little bit. And I've given this a rating of 3, which I think is more than fair. Next up, we have Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough, manufactured by Admiral, and yeah, I love the Admiral trims. They've got it not just on the sleeves this time, but they have it on the collar. Really good. Cons, the actual sleeve trims, though, I think it would have been better if they didn't finish red. It finished as the Admiral, because otherwise it kind of looks a little bit out of place, but unless you see it, then it's difficult to know. And then the white shoulder pads, I don't know why have they done that? Why have they just put random bits of white on the shoulders? I feel like that's a bit messy. So I'm going to give it a 4 just because of that, which is a shame. Norwich City, one of their most iconic shirts, manufactured by Ribeiro, and Pro, Wild Design. It's one of the shirts that I think if you think about Norwich, this one stands out maybe the most. Con, crest kind of gets lost in the pattern. I mean, you can see it, but yeah, it's one of those like Magic Eye books you used to get. It's like, where's the crest? And then, again, sometimes crazy designs need trims on sleeves just to balance it out a bit. So I've given it a 3. I know people rate this quite highly, and I know some people actually don't like it at all, so I think 3 is pretty fair. Next we have Nottingham Forest, manufactured by Umbro, and Pro, pinstripe. I think this is the only pinstripe shirt. I do like a pinstripe shirt. The Inter Milan shirt I have is beautiful, that follows that same design. And button collar, so 2 things I like. Con, logos don't fit in the verticals. So what I mean is like the Umbro, and of course it depends on the sizing. So if you get a small, it's going to be different to a XXL because obviously there's more material. So certain sizes probably fit quite nicely inside the stripe. I think sometimes when the line goes through the logo, it just looks a bit messy. It's just small things like that, but you know, somebody who really pays attention to shirts, it's details that can like to stand out. So I've given it a 4 just because I feel like it could have been done better. Oldham Athletic now, manufactured by Umbro and Pro. I like the white trims on the collar, really nice. And it's actually a shiny design. To be honest, most of the shirts released around about this time were quite shiny, but this one stood out even more so. And a con, design on the sleeve, similar to the Chelsea one, just a random Umbro styling on the sleeve. Not a huge fan of that. And then it has the club initials on the collar, on the neck here, which is weird for me because I'm used to seeing it on the back. I think maybe because if I grew up with it, I might like it a little bit more, but for me, I prefer to see it on the back. Just so I'm not a huge fan of that styling. But I'm still gonna give it a 3 though because it's pretty decent. It's a pretty decent shirt. Now then, we have QPR, manufactured by Clubhouse. Obviously, they don't do anything anymore. And the Pro for this one is horizontal stripes. I am a bit of a sucker for horizontal stripes. I certainly don't own as many as I'd like in my collection. I like the trim on the collar, really thin design. And then it might be able to just make it out, but the crest is sort of hidden inside these horizontals, so that's an even better touch. The cons, yellow trim around the armpit. I don't quite know what they were going for there. It just, when you see the real life photographs, it just looks a bit tacky. And then I wish the FM part of the sponsor fit nice and snugly inside the white and not sort of push into the blue below. I feel like it's a bit unnecessary, and it's like a block sponsor anyway, so I'm not a fan. But even taking into account all that, I'm still going to give it a 2, because when I look at all these photographs, I think this is one of the ones that stands out the most. It's close to a 3, but I will give it a 2. Sheffield United, manufactured by Umbro. Pro, lace-up collar, standard. And then I like the thin black vertical lines that separate the red and the white sections. I think it's quite nice. They have to be thin. Obviously, if it's thick, it's a different style anyway, but I like that touch. I don't like the yellow Umbro logo, though. That doesn't make any sense. It's too bright. It doesn't work with any of the colours involved. And it's the same thing with the sponsor. Like, I know that's the company's font, and it's not amazing. I don't even know what it says. Lever, who knows what that says. And it's yellow again, so it just doesn't stand out. So I'm going to give that a 4. And now for their rivals, Sheffield Wednesday, manufactured by Umbro, and the Pro sponsor placement on some of them. Again, it depends on the sizing of the shirt, and also sometimes sponsors just get placed willy-nilly. It was like a transfer, like I think most shirts probably were. And some of them it looked kind of good. Like this image looks like they've sort of the horizontal, the vertical stripes have been sort of, there's a gap, but there's no gap. It does run down. It's been covered by the sponsor. And then there's Umbro design, and again that's quite nice. Again, we're back to yellow and black logos like the previous one. Just doesn't work. Not interested. Sponsors too high. I kind of like it with the sponsors a little bit further down, not straight down on the belly button, but not so much it's right close up here and everything's so compact. You've got some space. And then again, you can't see it, but the Umbro logo on the sleeve, I'm just not a fan of. So again, I'm going to give them a 4. Next we have Southampton, manufactured by Admiral. Admiral collar trim, beautiful. Black sleeves on the trim. Tell me you don't like those black sleeves, they're nice. Again, similar to the Sheffield, to black vertical stripes, breaking it up. Slightly different styling, but do the same effect. And I kind of like the circle around the crest. It's nice, it breaks up once again. The con is just a block sponsor. If there was a way to maybe modern, it would just sort of break up the verticals and they'd place the sponsor in. But obviously back then they just went for the block. But other than that, it's a great shirt, so I'm going to give it a 2. So it's so close to being a 1, but I think 2 is fair. Next up we have Tottenham Hotspur, manufactured by Umbro. Pro is, I like the cuff detailing. End of the cuffs you have the sort of like, I think it's a navy colour, or at least looks navy on the image, with I think the club initials. It's like a modern approach to me, that seems like, even though there's not many modern shirts I've seen with that, but I think that's a really nice feature. And the detail in the collar, just a little bit of white, it's quite cool. Con, similar to the older one, the initials in the collar, just not feeling it, not feeling it at all. I'm giving this a 3 because I think just a little bit more detailing, it could be quite nice, but it's quite close to a 2. And to finish off, we have Wimbledon, manufactured by Admiral, and this one I really like the collar. It's kind of like a modern styling. I like the colour of it, and obviously there's a button, so that's always good. Con, there's no sponsor. I'm sorry, I know some people love it when they don't have it. It harps back to a sort of a simpler day where it was not as commercially as attacked. But for me, I like a sponsor. It just makes the football shirt for me. So that's always going to be negative. And then these yellow shoulders, like what is that? Why are they there? I don't understand what they've done. I mean, the shirt kind of gives me a slight Brazil World Cup sort of away shirt vibe, but that's not enough to stop it from being a 5. I'm sorry, but yeah, it has to be a 5. I'm sure there probably will be some worse shirts than this, but it's just, I would not want to own this shirt. Sorry, Wimbledon fans. But that's it. Yeah, that's all of the home shirts from the 92-93 season. Let me know if you think this is a decent enough series for me to continue. There are many seasons ahead. We will get there eventually. Like I said, these are just my opinions, bit of fun. Let me know which is your favourite shirt from this season, which ones you dislike, and that's kind of it. So, as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.